you were involved.
My name is Fred S. Crane, S for Stephen. I graduated from high school in East Orange, New Jersey in July 1939, and I saw a notice in the paper that there was 25 vacancies open, U.S. Army Air Corps, learn aircraft mechanics. And then on the bottom of it, it said Hawaii, and I said, man, that's for me. And so I enlisted, and they said, I was in East Orange, New Jersey, and I went to Fort Slocum in New York. Back then, I didn't even have any, what you call a basic training at all. And because I say that was July 1939. And I was up there, and just for 3 weeks, you get 1 shot per week. As long as you got your 3 shots, then you're ready to go. So we went by ship all the way through the East Coast, through the Panama Canal Zone, all the way up into California. We stopped at Angel Island, and we stayed there, I don't know, just about a week. And back on the ship we went, and then I landed in Hawaii in September of '39. Prior to the attack, George Lockhart and George Elliott, Joe Lockhart and George Elliott were at the Apana radar station, and they picked up blips about a good half hour before they even hit us. And they called Fort Shafter and told them that I'm picking up blips, but they did not say that we're picking up numerous blips. Because see, we were expecting 12 B-17s from the States that were en route coming in. In fact, they came in during the attack. And so what I'm trying to say is, so what we had to do is get those planes dispersed the best we can. Some were on fire, and the flames were naturally going from plane to plane. In the meantime, that's how we were doing like that. And, I had civilian clothes on because I was going to go to town. Well, I was combing my hair, and I had hair then. And we had a huge mirror, and you used to be able to stand in front of the mirror with your uniform on and adjust yourself so it was full length, you see. And I was combing my hair. All of a sudden, I heard this, like airplanes diving, and it was always a pretty sight to see. Hickam Field is separated from Pearl Harbor by a fence. That's as close as we were. In fact, I can hear the ships going out, and the submarines always had a very distinct sound. You know, it was a sub pulling out of their place. And anyway, all of a sudden I heard this huge explosion. Well, the plane that apparently had dropped that bomb came right over our barracks. And I noticed the old red insignia, and naturally I knew it was the Japanese. Well, the impact from the concussion, some of the men were still laying in their sacks because it's Sunday morning, some didn't even bother going to breakfast. Whereas, like I say, I was going to go to church. And anyway, so as soon as they hit, all hell broke loose. Because, see what they did, they had planes destined to hit Pearl Harbor, and then they had planes destined to hit the air bases, and also Schofield Barracks and Fort Armstrong, the military bases. But they wanted to knock out the air power, of course, for one of the first times, so they hit us simultaneously at the same time when all hell broke loose. Our planes were lined up on the parking ramp, wingtip to wingtip. And the reason for that was one man could cover more airplanes and guard them. You see what I mean? And rather than have them dispersed. Well, first thing that came to my mind is, what am I doing here? So I jerked off my doggone the civilian clothes and got my coveralls on and grabbed my gas mask and a helmet. Our ammunition and rifle were down in the hangar. Well, anyway, first thing, I got the weapon and I got the ammo, but I didn't get a chance to use it because I was tied up moving the aircraft. We were trying to get them dispersed. And at the same time, they, like I say, they hit us simultaneously at the same time. There was a direct hit on our barracks, and it hit the mess hall, and that's where most of the men were killed on that particular morning. It was a direct hit there. I think there was either 36 or something like that. But anyway, they start hitting our hangars and all. These were dive bombers that were doing that. At the same time, I don't want to get ahead of my story. when the fighters came in strafing, they were coming in at treetop level. And this, I told the flight crew to take off. I says, they said, well, this is a hell of a reception. And I says, this is real McCall. We're being attacked by the Japanese. So they took off. And I noticed that, see, if they were going to hit the planes on the ground. Here was this fighter coming at treetop level. He wasn't more than 20 feet above the ground, straight at me. And I had no idea that he was. I knew I was going to get it. I hit the doggone ground, and I could see the bullets hit, and I was just waiting for the pain, and it didn't come. And I remember saying, Lord, have mercy on me. Lord, have mercy on me. And it that makes a believer out of you. Base Chapel, destroyed it completely. And there he was at the foot of the altar. And there were several others that I lost that particular day. Anything that moved, they were challenged. Everybody at nighttime, and we had the doggonest rumors. The fellows you interviewed would tell you the same thing that particular night. If they said that some of the troops Japs were landing on the other side of the island. These were all rumors, but that didn't happen. But then, of course, after December the 7th, I did go to Midway during the Midway battle, so I was in there. Well, just like Bud and Homer both mentioned about how when the Arizona Blue, I remember the Arizona Blue, but to me, like I say, because that was before, when the Shaw went. Oh, that was out when I noticed that out in the field. It happened later on. The Shaw was one of the last ships I think was hit. Am I correct on that? I believe. Yeah, I think so. That's right. It was the last one. But the picture, you've got to see it because I know it's one of the most spectacular pictures of World War II, showing the explosion and the smoke and the flames were so high, so big. It was just they wouldn't have a chance. Getting out of that. I know it. Yeah. Career. I got out in 45, but 1945 they dropped the retirement from 30 to 20. So since I had 6 years in before, and I didn't even join the reserves, but I came back in because I was in the aircraft maintenance field, and I got my same rank. I was a tech sergeant then, and I re-enlisted as a tech sergeant. How? Then I made the airlift, and I made the Korean War, and I made Vietnam, all three. Also, and the airlift, I was on that also in Germany, 48. Then I was a flight chief, and I was a line chief, aircraft inspector, and in charge like that. During the Korean War, I was an aircraft inspector.
So your main objection
was aircraft maintenance, yes. When I came back from over there, because I had 4 years over there, but I did make the Solomon Islands and at Guadalcanal too.
How was the reception when you came back? What were people? What did they say? How'd they act?
Well, I actually, because see, I was still in the service, so I had a very short time. I did get back to the States to see my family, and of course, the people that knew me came back and told me, but people were starting to go ahead and going in. Well, I'll mention one more important thing too, and these fellows will back me up on this. 1940, they passed the Conscription Act, the Draft Act, and if that wasn't passed, we would never have had the draftees in our organizations, because we were shorthanded as it was over there at Hickam Field. But when they started coming in, the draftees came in, and that really helped us tremendously. And I always remember that as long as I live, because like I say, it was a blessing. And I know certainly, I can go on and on. I'm very fortunate because very fortunate that I survived over there. Because the first time in my life, I remember when I was a kid, I remember that I almost was killed because I went into the woods and I had to go to the bathroom, and then I fell backwards, and it was a slope, and it was going down, and all of a sudden, one little sapling like that stopped my body. And if I had gone another 4 feet, I would have dropped down to a roadway 40 feet below down there like that. That's one, and then of course that plane that I was telling you that how I missed me, I don't know. And at Guadalcanal, a train of bombs, we were hit night and day over there at Guadalcanal. Train of bombs came one night and hit our camp. The bombs would go 1, 2, like that, right back of me. And I don't know. It's the reason for it. And I don't know, I'm just so thankful for so many things like that in my life. I swear by our military.